Hey guys, today we're gonna talk about how slow living helped heal my anxiety. So don't mind me, I'll have breakfast also while taking this video. This is the Thai style pan fried egg. This is just 50 baht in a cafe, and I'm having the orange americano as well. Something a little bit special in Thailand. So first, let me talk a little bit about anxiety. I want to share sort of how how much my kind of nervous system was very overactive in Singapore. Back when I was in Singapore, I felt kind of tired and anxious quite a lot, pretty much all the time. Uh, I feel like sometimes the body is just really like wound up and uptight, and yeah, I couldn't rest. I couldn't sleep very well. Also, and and I mean I was eating well, but I wasn't sleeping well. So so actually, and also I had quite a lot of um bad habits or addiction, if you call it. I was actually like drinking alcohol almost every day, and not just one per day, which was really quite bad lah. And then I was also smoking. Yeah, quite bad habits, right? Hmm. By the way, this is quite nice, very simple meal, but very nice. So as I was saying, there was quite a lot of bad habits that I picked up, which kind of is like a downward spiral because the more you engage in that kind of unhealthy behavior, the worse you feel lah, basically. So that was me. And then also the lack of sleep also made me, kind of make worse decisions as well. So it's really like a vicious cycle. Mm. And then I think the turning point was more I couldn't take that anymore. I think on the outside people think I am, I made it, right? I'm quite successful. And even like there are a few of my friends who say, oh, you're like a young success, and uh yeah lah, you like one of my smartest friends or something like that. But well, yes, on the outside it seems like I made it, but of course there was quite a lot of trade-offs as well. So yeah, like obviously, my mental health, my physical health wasn't the best because I was kind of very wound up. I think my nervous system was like totally crazy. I screwed it all up. So yeah, it was not not good for me. Even though on the outside it seems like, oh, it's good. You have a good job, good salary, and all of that material stuff. But yeah, like there is definitely like a trade-off. I wasn't happy also. Yeah, obviously. So now I am actually in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and my life is a lot simpler now. Uh, living living has become slower, you know, slower pace. I can get to enjoy like food, slowly without much rushing. Back when I was in Singapore, actually a lot of times you kind of rush through things, right? You don't really enjoy your meal very much, right? You go grab a coffee, and the coffee is just a way to wake up, right? You don't actually savor the coffee. I was actually having like maybe 2 3 cups of coffee per day also when I was in Singapore, which probably added to my anxiety. Yeah, and it wasn't for enjoyment. It was really like just a put me up, to just get me going, to give me the energy to just get through the day lah. Yeah. Now, yeah, like I mentioned, it's a lot slower pace. I get to enjoy the food, and it's very nice. Even food, right? Like sometimes, sometimes people eat at their desk. I think it's not a good habit, but yes, like sometimes in the corporate world, in office, people tapao and eat at their desk. No social interaction, no nothing. Just eat at the desk and then move on to work some more. So, is that is that good? I beg to differ lah. That's probably not very good in my opinion. But yeah. So now I'm in Thailand. It's a lot slower pace. I've met a lot of people. I've learned some bits from the Thai people as well. I think in Singapore we are all about productivity, right? Efficiency, productivity. Everything needs to be fast. There is the mindset of like, oh, I want to kind of win as comparison and all of that. But here, I think, people are just a lot more chill. The sabai sabai kind of attitude, very easygoing. Uh, giant yen, which means the heart is kind of is cold, right? Like very chill kind of heart. So the attitude towards life is quite different here, and I've learned from the Thais here the way of living. Uh, Yesterday or the day before, I was at the creative week, right? And then I met this like Thai Indian, and actually this Thai Indian was born in Bangkok, but she actually wanted to come to Chiang Mai, so she was the owner of the booth, and then she shared with me, oh, she came to Chiang Mai 12 years ago because she has a daughter and she don't want her daughter to to grow up in a city like Bangkok. Bangkok to her was too crazy and too fast paced, right? So she actually moved to Chiang Mai and now she has a studio here. So actually, even Thais, they don't really want to live in the city. Or I mean, not all, I would say, but really like some Thais they prefer like a much slower pace of life, like in Chiang Mai, and if they don't want their kids to actually grow up in the city. And also, I think there are quite a lot of people who are, born kind of in the countryside or like in Chiang Mai. Actually, they have been through the phase of going to the city and trying to make it in the city. Uh, and some of them did, some of them probably didn't. But I think nowadays, what I've seen is or what I've heard is uh, they actually don't want their kids to go live that life. They don't want their kids to actually go to the city and like 打拼 and like like make it in life. They actually prefer there's no such expectation of their kids. Yeah, they okay with because they've lived through that and they don't think that that's the kind of life they want for their kids. Yeah, so actually a lot of the Thais, right? They they are just living quite authentically. Uh, a lot of them actually pursue arts in the university. Uh, a lot of people like just open their own cafe or just do their own craft, right? And so it is really quite different, I think, versus what we see in Singapore. I think in Singapore there is that expectation that you go you study a degree, and then get a good job and continue being in the city. Of course, Singapore is a city lah, so uh, I guess there isn't really that perspective of, oh, you can lead a kind of different lifestyle, but like just being here just opened my perspective a little, and that's why I'm sharing with you all. And also in general, I think being mm, being here in Chiang Mai, I see people are just a lot happier. I have my family and my friends come here, for a few days. On day one, they seem a bit uptight and stressed. But by day three, my mom was saying, "Oh, like 买眉头都没有皱了, it's just that that joy that she experienced, and just physically there is, I think, that relaxation. Of course, she did a lot of massage also, I think that helps. But yeah, like it's just the environment, being in nature, close to nature, not seeing like tall buildings all the time, uh waking up to bird song. I don't know, like all my friends who and family who came here, they I think their nervous system also got a reset lah. Yeah. By the time they leave, they always tell me they want to come back again. Uh yeah. And kind of a lot of times they say, oh, your lifestyle here is so good, right? I envy your life here. So yeah, like I think the environment really helps. I think having that space really helps. And I think here also the people are not so judgmental lah. So that that is a big factor also. Ah, so actually, like corporate life, of course it has a drill. A lot of people climb the corporate ladder, and then they get a big title, big paycheck. But of course, it is definitely a lot of trade-off that is not seen. Uh, like the mental health, the physical health is, and of course, like there is also impact to other aspects of life, right? And a lot of that is actually not said. Nobody tells the the downside to success, right? Everyone just posts on Instagram, like going on holidays, going on business trips, and having all the big fun, hanging out with the CEO, things like that. There is this metaphor I heard previously, like when you're in a brothel, like the key thing is to 早日赎身, not to be 头牌. So that actually stuck with me. And eventually I decided to 赎 my own 身 lah, to, get out of this brothel environment. Uh, yeah, it is actually quite toxic lah, if you think about it. um yeah, so now I think being able to live slowly, I think that's also, I mean, I'm grateful for that. It is really quite a privilege. Not everyone has the opportunity to just be able to live slowly, right? So being able to do so, I am actually quite grateful. um and actually now I don't have the previous addictions that I have. Like, previously I was really very bad. No, the alcohol was at one sitting I can drink one bottle of alcohol, and it came to a point where, yeah, like it was just quite bad lah. There were cases where I just black out. There were cases where my ex colleague told me I was like There was no angel on the floor after like a company CNY gathering. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. And now, yeah, I don't actually like, drink that much. Like, don't feel like I need to drink. Previously, I think it was more really like an addiction, or a way for me to relax. But obviously, it's not the best way to relax, I think. uh, yeah, what I've realized is actually alcohol is quite bad for sleep. People think alcohol is good, right? For helps you sleep. But no, actually alcohol, if you drink it, it maybe helps you sleep, like get into sleep, but it prevents you from getting into deep sleep. So it's actually quite bad. Yeah. So anyway, here I don't really drink that much. Sometimes I have a beer or two, but not not the same lah, not the same as what I used to do. Yeah, and I don't smoke anymore. So yeah, from a kind of you know healthy habits point of view, I'm a lot better now. And yeah, and in general, like being able to slow down here, it just kind of reset the brain, and and everything is just a lot a lot like I feel like my mind is not racing so much anymore. In fact, it's not racing. So it is just that you kind of get back to kind of the equilibrium. They call it homeostasis. I don't know how to pronounce, but yeah, like homeostasis. Yeah, but it just gets back to like a equilibrium, and I feel uh at at peace, and calm, basically, which really uh is quite a big step forward, versus where I was previously. And I think in one of my videos previously about living in Thailand, wow, wow, the viewers, one of your comment, oh, a tortoise live to 100 years old, or more than 100 years old, while I think a hamster live very short life, right? So at the end of the day, slow living is 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 a good way to maintain health for longevity. If you want to live a good life, I think you know uh, slow living is definitely good. Um, of course, like if you're in a busy city like Singapore, then I think you know sometimes that things out of control. Like of course, everything kind of moves at a much faster pace. But I think there are still pockets of time where potentially you can just try to slow down, like eating, for example, right? Don't eat at your desk, in office hour, go out and have your meal. When you're having your meal, like just slow down, look at the different colors on the plates, slow down, chew your food and all of that, like just simple things, yeah. But I think it helps, in just really helping. It helps you slow down and bring everything back to equilibrium. Yeah. Uh, yeah. And also like don't look at your phone when you eat or when you do things, right? To try to do one thing at a time. Yeah. So I actually hope you all like this sharing. It's a new format I'm trying. Let me know if you like it. Comment in the section down below. And see you in the next one.